Hey, Tim and Shana from Punk Rope. This is lesson 7, guys, and finally, it is time for double unders with your rope. Shana's going to do a quick demo of an approach we like, which is called 1, 2, 3 double. So here she goes. 1, 2, 3 double. 1, 2, 3 double. 1, 2, 3 double. Double, last, good. All right, no, that's good. So you could see she was performing 3 single unders followed by her double under. It's typically a great approach for beginners because it gives them a chance to stabilize, to gather themselves, to find their rhythm, and then snap and elevate on the double under. Okay, there's other approaches, but this is one that we really like. So if you remember from last time, your form was basically same as single under. Your elbows were in pretty tight. You were turning first, jumping second. You had your core engaged. You were looking out about eye level. And your jumps were high enough to get the rope under your feet twice. That's something you practiced with your tapping drill, and you also practiced it with your double windmill swing. So now what we're going to do with Shana is a 30-second bout using the 1, 2, 3 double sequence. Don't worry about it if you miss, guys. You just dust yourself off, you get back up, and you try it again. But this will give us a sense of where you're at. It'll give you a sense of where you're at. Okay, so 30 seconds going in 3, 2, 1, and go. So trying to find your rhythm, your stability. The wrists are doing the majority of the work. Core is engaged. Jumps are low. You have 3, 2, 1, and rest. Awesome. Great. So that was 30 seconds. Now you might be a little bit out of breath, and that's normal. It's a lot of effort, but the important thing is not to hold your breath. You got to keep breathing. Now, some things to consider: mindfulness and mantras and commitment. So the more you tense up, the more difficult this is going to become. So we do want you to get all zen and relaxed, whether that means saying a mantra to yourself or closing your eyes and doing a visualization, some deep breathing, some meditation, whatever it takes to get in that zen frame of mind, we encourage you to do that. If you're getting very tired very quickly, there's a good chance you're not breathing. You're just holding it all in very tight. So one way to test yourself is to talk. When you practice your doubles, you can talk to yourself, you can talk to a buddy, you can talk to a coach, but at least talking is going to relax you and enable you to keep breathing. So those are a couple of simple tips. And to practice, you're going to do repeated sets of what we had just done. We'll get to that in a little bit. So moving on, because ultimately we want to progress to continuous doubles. One thing to keep in mind is after you attempt a double, and let's say you're successful, you're going to want to slow the rope down such that you can do a single under. In other words, if you keep turning at that very fast rate, but you're not doing continuous double unders, you're probably going to over-rotate and miss the next jump. So at this stage, unless you're already at the continuous double under level, in which case you probably wouldn't have been taking this course, it's very important to learn how to slow the rope down. And so one way to do that is after your double under or your attempt, you draw a bigger circle with your wrists, so a larger radius, and that by itself helps to slow the rope down. You can even see it with the singles. There's a quick double and then the single. Okay, I'm going to just close in just for one so you can see this up close. So super tight, rapid turn, less tight, slower turn. Awesome. Okay, perfect. That gives you a really good look at it. Excellent. Okay, so next up, we're aiming for continuous double unders. And I should add that we recommend the 3 single approach, but if that doesn't work for you, you could certainly add more singles. Could be 4, could be 5. And as you improve, one thing to consider is reducing the number of singles between double attempts. So instead of 1, 2, 3 double, you could aim for 1, 2 double, 1, 2 double, 1, 2 double. Now even harder would be double, single, double, single. Some people find that extremely difficult, but if you're able to perform double, single, you have good control of your rope because you're... That was double single. Okay, I thought it was 2 singles and a double.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
The next one will be continuous.
Perfect. All right.
I'll be honest, I've never been able to do only, it's either 3 or 1. I've never had a big incentive to do 2.
Yeah. So, and you know, everyone out there is going to be different. And it's not critical that you're able to do that. I think the main objective is control of the rope and the ability to shift from double unders to single unders, and ultimately going for continuous double unders. So speaking of continuous double unders, if you remember the practice that we did in the previous lesson, we were attempting jumps with no rope while tapping our thighs or our hips consecutively. So each time you landed, you went back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, and you found that rhythm.
It's hard.
It is hard. And you also did the same thing using either your wrist trainers or wrist trainer or half of a rope folded up. Either way, it was the same idea. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So constantly springing back up after the 2 rotations. To do that, you need to have a good feel, right, for the surface. You got to be able to land and come right back up. So you got some stiffness in those calves and even up into the quads. If you bend your knees too much, it's going to be much more difficult. And you're trying to stay in the same place, right? You're jumping and landing in the same place. If you're bouncing all over the room, you're going to fatigue very, very quickly. So the first progression after you feel comfortable at least doing some double unders followed by singles is just to attempt 2 double unders in a row. We don't have to go crazy. We're not going for 100 or 50 or 20 or even 10. Let's see if we can get 2 in a row and then follow that up with your singles. Okay, and it's going to look like this. 1, 2. Perfect, right? So Shana hits some singles, 2 consecutive doubles, back to some singles. And you're going to want to try that a number of times and see if you can get comfortable with that. But 2 in a row is a great place to start. 2. And 2. Good. if you want to go for more, if you're feeling confident, you feel like you've got the form, it's okay. You can go for more. But what you need to be really mindful of is when your form starts to deteriorate. And you may know that either by looking in a mirror, training with a partner or a coach, or just the feel of it, just something feels off. Once that happens, guys, you gotta stop, right? You gotta stop, back up to a point where you can maintain good form, whether that means putting the rope down or picking it up but swinging it to the side. You know, wherever you need to be to keep working on perfection of your form, that's where you want to go after you make a mistake. Okay, so then you've gotten some double unders, let's say. Maybe you were even able to do a couple of continuous. And next we want to keep working on our control and our endurance. Double unders are very demanding. They require a lot of energy. So what you're going to do next is find a structure that works for you in order to improve your endurance. And what we suggest is a 30 to 60 second bout of jump rope with a sequence that works for you. So let's say right now you're at 1, 2, 3 double. Okay, that's what you can do. 1, 2, 3 double. You're comfortable, you're confident. So you would continue to work on that for 30 to 60 seconds and then recover fully. So that might mean at least 60 seconds. We'll talk a little bit more about recovery in a second. And then you would repeat another bout. Now, if you're able to do a few continuous double unders, then you would include those in your set. And it might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 4. Everyone's going to be in a different place. But we'd like you to be as consistent as possible, and we'd like you to build up to 4 to 8 sets of practice bouts in a jumping session. So that might be as much as 8 minutes, and that's not 8 minutes of continuous jumping necessarily. There's some recovery for sure, and the recovery can be swings, side swings, windmill swings, crossover swings, can be gentle stretching. It all depends really on your current fitness level. But start slow, make sure you fully recover, and progress gradually. It's very likely you're going to be out of breath while you're doing this, so we definitely encourage you to recover quite a bit. For some folks, that recovery to work ratio is going to be 3 to 1. In other words, if you jump for 30 seconds, you may need 90 seconds to recover, possibly even more. Okay? And then you're going to want to practice this 2 to 3 times a week. Now, once you get up to your continuous doubles, let's say you can do a couple, figure out what's your go-to number, right? So Shana,
I'll say
over
it's 20 today.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say it varies, right? It varies. Maybe
what's part of your training season?
Maybe at one time it was 10, you know, maybe it was 5. But everyone's going to be different. So you have to determine what's your go-to number of continuous. If you can do continuous. If not, don't worry about it. You're going to work up to it. So maybe it's 2 in a row, maybe it's 3 in a row, maybe it's 10 in a row without a tremendous amount of effort. All right, figure out that go-to number, and then you're going to practice that number of double unders, continuous double unders, followed by sufficient recovery, which we would say is probably going to be 3 to 1, right? So if you do 10 double unders, that's your go-to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that took Shana about maybe 7 seconds. All right. Is 21 seconds enough for her to recover? Probably not. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe she needs 30. And maybe that varies from day to day. But wait until you're recovered, until you hit the next 10. Okay, if she feels ready, she can go again. If she feels still fatigued and then messes up in the next set and her form starts to break, then she knows, you know what? No, that was not enough recovery. Or the other option is that was not really her go-to number. She overdid it. So be conservative at first. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's an approach that you can use. I know it's a little bit nebulous, but you have some homework. So your homework is practice 3 sets of the 1, 2, 3 double approach. Go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay? For 30 seconds, right? So you're hitting a double every 4th turn. It's not too energy demanding. And then you're going to rest for 30 seconds. And then you're going to do it again, and rest, and do it again, and rest, and that's your 3 sets. Okay? You can certainly practice all the other things we talked about, like doing just 2 singles after a double or 1. You can practice your continuous doubles if you're there. You can find your go-to number of continuous and work on that. But the most important thing, so we can really, really help you out, is you're going to shoot a video of yourself, or you're going to have a friend do it, while you're either performing double unders or attempting double unders. Don't worry if you miss. And we'd like you to shoot that video from profile, right, from the side, and head on. So no more than a minute. That's plenty. 30 seconds.
And you're not jumping the whole time.
You're not jumping the whole time. I mean, if you can do a minute continuous double unders, you probably don't need this course. But you're gonna face the camera for 30 seconds and do your best, and then you'll turn to the side and videotape yourself from the side. Well lit really helps, guys.
Being able to see the feet.
Good resolution, yeah. Be able to see the feet and above the head. That's all important. And then we're going to give you our feedback. Okay. So that's it for lesson 7, and we'll see you soon with lesson 8. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.